الحمد لله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي امري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. When Dr. Khalid asked me to present this topic, I was so worried because tawdih al-wadihat, we say in Mantiq, is the most problematic when you start to clearing what is clear, explaining what is clear, is the most difficult task. And explaining who are the Ahlul Bayt, and Ahlul Bayt do not need explanation as such, it's very difficult for me. But then I remember that the people that I'm going to talk to them or in front of them, they are ulamas, so it makes my work easy. So I presented some brief because the time maybe is so little. One is in Urdu, one in Arabic, one in English. It's a summary of what we are supposed to have. If I didn't mention anything, that is what I want actually to speak about. So the verse in question, our Shaykh have recited it. It is 33, chapter 33, verse 33. So I have some here, but it is so long, I don't want it to introduction, for example, according to most authentic traditions in collections of both Sunni and Shia, Ahlulbayt, peace upon them, of the Prophet is one of the most precious symbols of Islam. As like that, I wanted to, yes, but what we say in Shia school of thought, I don't want to say school of thought. It's very difficult English language. Because Shia, we don't believe that it's a school of thought. We don't believe it's a madhhab even. So, Fatima Zahra, the daughter of the Prophet, is Imam Ali, Fatima, Hassan alayhi salam, Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and also wives of the Prophet. They are Ahlul Bayt. This is, when we speak about language, they are Ahlul Bayt. But then comes into umum and khusus, as you know, in tafsir and in other terminology of the Quran. Like when Nuh alayhi salam, he said, "Inna ibni min ahli," and Allah, he said, "Innahu laysa min ahlik, innahu amalu ghayru salih." I'm speaking to the ulama, so you can copy and paste in my words and what I mean. So, because he was amal ghayr salih, that issue take him out of being the ahl of Noah alayhi salam. But Quran does not deny that he was actually the son of Noah alayhi salam, because we don't believe that there is be otherwise than that. So, other among the Sunnis further include all the descendants of the Prophet to the list. I think not to go more in details about the presentation, that if we go to very simple book, Riyadh al-Salihin of Imam Nawawi, rahimahullah, he has a topic there, Babu Ikram Ahlul Bayt. I think he took that hadith in Sahih Muslim, and it's a very long hadith of Imran bin Hussein and Zayd bin Arqam and so on and so forth. He mentioned about Ahlul Bayt, where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he was coming from Mecca to Medina in Ghadir Qum, he mentioned the hadith is Thaqalain, and the narrator, sub-narrator of that hadith, he say, وَمَنْ هُمْ أَهْلُ بَيْتِهِ. Then Imam Nawawi, he defining the narrator. أَلَيْسَ نِسَاؤُهُ مِنْ أَهْلِ الْبَيْتِ. The narrator, he said, نِسَاؤُهُ مِنْ أَهْلِ الْبَيْتِ وَلَكِنْ. He make here khusus. إِنَّ أَهْلَ بَيْتَهُ الَّذِينَ حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ الصَّدَقَةَ. So, and then he start mentioning Alu Ali, Alu Aqil, Alu, the long hadith. So, I think you can just hit your mind in there before we go to the hadith of Al-Kisa, which is very famous in this. So, I would like you to pay attention more on the verse itself, which says, Ya Nisa al-Nabi, lastunna ka'ahad min nisa in ittaqaytunna. Those who speak Arabic, they will know in what is that, in shart here. There is shart muqayyad in them. Whereas when Dhamiri change, there are no shart muqayyad in it. فلا تخضعن بالقول فيسمع الذي في قلبه مرض وقلنا قولا معروفا وقرن في بيوتكن ولا تبرجن تبرج الجاهلية الأولى وأقمنا الصلاة وآتينا الزكاة وأطعنا الله ورسوله. And then from Nun al-Niswa, the verse changed all over into Innama with Adat al-Hasr, and those who speak Arabic they can know what the means of Adat al-Hasr there. إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا وذكرنا. It goes back the verse with the ضمير النسوة. This is why Allah is the author of the language. He doesn't need no correction. When He speaks something, He means it. So from this verse, we can maybe understand two things. First, al-muradu min Ahlul Bayt. What is the murad? What is the meaning of Ahlul Bayt? Second, al-murad min idhab al-rijis. Why there is idhab al-rijis? Because Allah says, وَكَذَلِكَ يَجْعَلُ اللَّهُ الرِّجْسَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. It's very, very difficult. Quran, it is specified. Where is the rijis? إِنَّمَا الْخَمْرُ وَالْمَيْسِرُ وَالْأَنْصَابُ رِجِسٌ مِنْ عَمَلِ الشَّيْطَانِ. It is specified rijis. Here He said, إِنَّمَا يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ لِيُذْهِبَ عَنْكُمْ رِجِسَ وَكَذَلِكَ يَجْعَلُ اللَّهُ الرِّجْسَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. And in another verse, rijis is shirk, is rijis. وَاجْتَنِبُوا الرِّجْسَ مِنَ الْأَوْثَانِ. Means shirk itself is rijis. So when we go, I will just quote hadith from Imam Al-Hakim here. First, وَإِذَا جَعْنَا إِلَى صَحِيحِ مُسْلِمٍ وَإِلَى صَحِيحِ تِرْمِذِي وَإِلَى صَحِيحِ نِسَائِ وَإِلَى مُسْنَدِ أَحْمَدْ بِنْ حَنْبَلٍ. All of these books, we find this hadith. They narrated from Ibn Abbas, وعن أبي سعيد الخدري, وعن جابر بن عبد الله الأنصاري, وعن سعيد بن أبي وقاص, وعن زيد بن الأرقم, وعن أم سلمة, وعن عائشة رضي الله عنها, وعن بعض الصحابة الآخرين. All of this, they narrated hadith al-Kisai. They say, لما نزلت هذه الآية المباركة إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت جمع أهله. إن رسول الله جمع أهله أي جمع عليا وفاطمة والحسن والحسين وألقى عليهم كساءة وقال اللهم هؤلاء أهل بيتي. So some people they may say, why he didn't take his wives? Is it they are not Ahlul Bayt? They are Ahlul Bayt. But in tafsir of Rasulullah there is umum and khusus. They are Ahlul Bayt and no Shia deny that. وفي بعض الرواية ألقى الكساء على هؤلاء فنزلت الآية المباركة. So this is why we have the riwayah that Salama, actually she had wanted to join Rasulullah under the clock, and then he said ارجع مكانك أنت على الخير. أنت على الخير. You are in the khair. Does not mean that because I took my children here under the clock, then you are outcasted. No, you are khair, but he wanted to make khusus in this, Rasulullah. This hadith can be found in Sahih Muslim, volume 7, 130, page 130. Also in Musnad Ahmad bin Hanbal, volume 1, verse, page 330. It is in Sunan al-Nasai also and others. In Siyah Sitta and others. So what I wanted to say is that we believe that Ahlul Bayt are those 5 people. Rasulullah himself, Ali, Fatima, Hassan, and Hussein. And we believe that this verse, there is also a hint on infallibility in them. When we spoke about infallibility, some people they may say that you make them as prophets, you make them as gods. No, it's not as so. Ordinary human beings, they were infallible. They were also some sort. Everybody he get his own infallibility. If, for example, you have reached the standard that you cannot lie anymore in your life, right? It means you have reached the stage of infallibility to that as a human being. So when Allah look at Ahlul Bayt, for example, He doesn't look them as how we look them. Of course, He may find some faults in them, because Allah, He's looking Ali and Rasulullah and Fatima and Hassan and Hussein. But if an ordinary person like me, Abu Ja'far, looks someone like Ali, definitely I don't see him anything wrong in his life. Whatever he do to me is right, because I know he has reached that level regardless of what I think about myself. When I compare myself to him, then he's infallible. If I compare my father to me, I can say my father is better than me. If I compare my teacher who taught me, I can say that he's better than me. So the level of infallibility depends upon the person, how he is. There is a lot of a hint on that. And there is no, yeah. So when we go now to the another part of the hadith, which include the wives of the Holy Prophet to be the part of Ahlul Bayt, we say ينقل عن إكرمة مولى عبد الله بن عباس. Only hadith which include the wives of the Holy Prophet was narrated by Ikrimah. Listen carefully. فهذا كان يصر على أن الآية نازلة على خصوص أزواج النبي حتى أنه كان يمشي في الأسواق إكرمة ويعلم عن هذا الرأي ويخطي الناس باعتقادهم باختصاص الآية المباركة بأهل البيت مما يدل على أن الرأي السائد عند المسلمين كان هذا الرأي. So Ikrimah is the only source of the hadith which include the wives of Rasulullah to be included in that verse. And you know the situation of Ikrimah, that Imam Bukhari, what he says about Ikrimah, and Imam Muslim, he nearly didn't take anything from Ikrimah. So, and at the end, we know from the Jarh al-Ta'dil about Ikrimah that he was rejected. Even when he died, people refused to bury him. Only 4 people, they carry his coffin at the end of his life. If you read about his Jarh al-Ta'dil, you will see that. And they used to say that do not say lies like how Ikrimah used to lie on Ibn Abbas. It's very famous. So I want my brothers to go to that hadith and check the narrator of this hadith who included the wives of the Holy Prophet to be in the Ahlul Bayt, which is Ikrimah, and you see the situation of Ikrimah. Here in the Arabic text of the above tradition given by say الترمذي نزلت هذه الآية على النبي إنما يريد الله يذهب عنكم رجس في البيت في بيت أم سلمة فدعا النبي فاطمة وحسن وحسينا فجعلهم بكسائه وعلى خلف ظهري ثم قال اللهم هؤلاء أهل بيتي فاذهب عنهم رجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. قالت أم سلمة وأنا معهم يا نبي الله قال أنت على مكانك وأنت إلى الخير. So briefly, that is what I wanted to say, and you have the document there. There is more references in that, and we believe that these 5 are the only Ahlul Bayt which is mentioned in the Quran. And the changing of Dhamir, it tells us the style, because we believe that the verse can be one verse connected as we see it today, but it was revealed maybe separately, and then by the order of the Holy Prophet it was made together and it was compiled where the Holy Prophet had been shown by Jibreel alayhi salam. So this is how I can say briefly, and maybe more we can get it when we discuss to each other. I prefer that we discuss better than to lecture the scholars. Not here to lecture the scholars, but just to say our views on this. In case there is any kind of discussion, we can get more time to discuss. But with your permission, if you wanted to make Hadith Thaqalain more stronger, we can also use it where the Holy Prophet spoke about these 5 individuals separately. For example, he say Al-Hasan al-Hussein, Sayyid al-Shabab al-Jannah. Right? It supports the hadith of the verse of Surah Al-Ahzab. Also, when he said that Anta minni bi manzilati Haruna min Musa illa annahu la nabiyya ba'di, saying to Ali, it supports the same again. when he spoke about Fatima, بِضْعَةٌ مِنِّي مَنْ أَزَاهَا فَقَدْ أَزَانِي. So it also supports the very verse. So sometimes the hadith can be supported with other hadiths. When he say about Hussein minni wa ana minhu, there is a relation that Rasulullah he's talking about when he spoke in the battle of Khaybar about Ali. La u'tiyana raya ghadan rajulan. Two things there. Yuhibbu Allah wa rasulahu. Wallahu wa rasuluhu yuhibbu. Yeah? And when you match the verse of the Holy Quran, in kuntum tuhibbuna Allah fattabi'uni yuhibbukum Allah. So the exchange of love between Allah and Rasul, and the exchange of love between Ali and Allah, with this hadith, when you look at it, and when you combine all of this together, then you know that this has to be Ahlul Bayt. When you look at the historical background of the wives of Rasulullah, those who in kuntunna turidna al-hayata wa zinataha fata'alayna umati'ukunna, that the verses are speaking about things that had happened on the houses of Rasulullah, that they demanded much expense, much maybe let us say money or whatever. So Allah is saying, in kuntunna turidna al-hayata ad-dunya wa zinataha fata'alayna. It comes from very far. This context of this verse came from very far in Surah Al-Ahzab, where there are group of the wives of Rasulullah used to demand things until the Holy Prophet used to be upset sometimes. So it come there. And then when we look at the incident of وَلَا تَبَرَّجْنَا تَبَرُّجَ الْجَاهِلِيَّةِ الْأُولَى وَقَرْنَا فِي بُيُوتِكُنَّ, and then we come and see al-Mu'minin Aisha radiallahu anha, where she came out of Medina and Mecca and then go to Basra, Iraq, and he participated in the battle of Jamal. And we see the tafsir of this verse in Qurtubi and others, where Aisha radiallahu anha used to cry when she used to recite this verse. Then you realize what had really happened. Thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Thank you. Jazakallahu khairan.